Go ahead.
Thank you. Helping Parents Heal is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents to become shining light parents by providing support and resources to aid in the healing process. We go a step beyond other groups by allowing open discussion of spiritual experiences and evidence for the afterlife in a non-dogmatic way. Affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background, and allow for open dialogue. Attendance today at the Helping Parents Heal meeting is voluntary, and we are here for the benefit of learning from and sharing with other parents whose child has passed away. It is understood that our discussions are intended to be confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers to allow parents to be informed about many possible ways to heal, to connect with their children, and to learn about the afterlife. The views expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect those of Helping Parents Heal, and we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally.
Thank you, Kathy. That was wonderful. And again, I'm just so happy to have everyone here, and I am really, really grateful to have Karen Noe, who was one of our first speakers outside of Phoenix. She spoke to our New Jersey affiliate group years and years ago, and she's always been a very strong supporter of Helping Parents Heal. She's a renowned psychic medium, spiritual counselor, and healer. She is the author of We Consciousness, 33 Profound Truths for Inner and Outer Peace, Your Life After Their Death, A Medium's Guide to Healing After Loss, Through the Eyes of Another, A Medium's Guide to Creating Heaven on Earth by Encountering Your Life Review Now, and The Rainbow Follows the Storm, How to Obtain Inner Peace by Connecting with Angels and Deceased Loved Ones. She is also the founder of the Angel Quest Center in Waldwick, New Jersey, where she teaches classes, gives readings, and practices alternative healing. You can listen to Karen on the Angel Quest radio show by tuning in to www.hudsonriverradio.com the first Saturday of every month at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. To find out more about her, please visit her website at www.karennoe.com. And without further ado, please join me in welcoming Karen Noe.
Hello, everybody. Sending you big hugs. Can you hear me? I'm not the loudest person. Okay.
Yes, definitely.
I've been doing what I do for many years, and there's nothing like losing a child. There is absolutely nothing. So my heart goes out to you. But I'm here to tell you, without a doubt, that your child is trying to talk to you and is right by your side, giving you signs. And we're going to talk about how to raise your vibration so you're more on par with their vibration and you could feel them, and how to receive the signs and so forth. So are you ready? Because this is not about me. This is about you. It's a little bit different. Let me just explain who I am and what happened to me that I started receiving messages. About 25 years ago, I was going through a difficult time in my life. And I sat at the edge of my bed and I just yelled at God. And I said, am I going to be okay? And with that, I saw a light that came towards me from the other side of the room. And my first response was, if you're not of God, please leave. But the more I said that, the more it kept coming towards me and eventually enveloped me. At that time, I heard an audible voice that said, Lucia, Lucina, Bella, Lucia, Lucina. Are there any Italians here that knows what that means? It means light, little, beautiful little light. And I've since learned it was St. Francis of Assisi who's been guiding and protecting me. For those of you who follow me on Facebook or have read any of my books, you'll see that St. Francis connection with the animals or with the peace connection. I'm always promoting peace, no matter what's going on in the world. I don't care what it is. I'll always post positive thoughts on Facebook because I know that we're vibrational beings, and whatever we're thinking and feeling, we're creating more of in the world and in our lives. So we have to make sure, easier said than done. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's worth our effort to focus on what we want rather than what we don't want. But we're going to get into that today. Okay. Before we start, I wanted to, right after that experience with the light, I started receiving messages from the angels and deceased loved ones, and I was pathetically shy. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I stood in the back of the room biting my nails. I have people that come to my classes now and they say, "Is that you?" Well, the reason why I'm able to do this, it's not about me. It's about helping. How may I serve? And that's completely different than talking. You know what I mean? So when I know I could be of benefit to somebody else, then I'm not as shy as I used to be. But I started receiving messages from deceased loved ones. I started doing, let's backtrack. I didn't want to do what I was doing. I didn't want people to think I was not in my right mind. I would be on the soccer field with my kids when they were little, and messages would come through for people as I was sitting on the benches. And it always was very specific, you know, the name of the person and how, you know, they had a specific message, their pet's name and so forth. So I said, okay, let me try this. I rented a room at the back of a hair salon and I did Reiki. Do you know what Reiki is? It's energy healing. And I was doing Reiki on people. And as I was doing the Reiki, messages would come through. And I'll never forget one of the first messages I gave. His name was Robert. He said he died in a car accident. But I'm in America, so this doesn't normally happen in America. I saw a kangaroo with boxing gloves on, punching the air. And I said, I'm not going to share that. He's going to think I'm crazy. So I did share it. I said, she's going to think I'm crazy. There was a woman in my office and she was on the table as I was doing the Reiki. And I shared, there's somebody named Robert. He's coming through. He said he died in a car accident. I don't know why, but he's showing me a kangaroo with boxing gloves. And she jumped off the table and she screamed and she said, my friend Robert died in a car accident and he boxed kangaroos in Australia. That's how I knew I started, you know, I was really receiving messages that I couldn't make something like that up. And I'm here to tell you today how to receive these types of messages because it didn't come as a voice. It didn't come as an apparition. It came as a thought and in my mind's eye. And I'm teaching you how to do this today because it's not about Karen Noe, it's about you. When my own mom passed, let's go back a little bit. When she passed, I knew that she was coming through to me because thoughts in my mind would say, hi, sweetheart. I don't call myself sweetheart. She called me sweetheart. Does that make sense? And we're going to go through this today so I could fine tune this. Okay, so before I start, in my book, Your Life After Their Death, I pretty much summed up everything I've learned over the many years of doing readings and healings. And it talks about everything I know about the afterlife. So I wanted to read that to you before we started. It's called Life Continues. And here it is. You may not see your loved ones, but they are able to see you. You may not hear their precious voices, but they are speaking to you in your thoughts all the time. You may long to know if they're okay, but there's no need to worry because they are in a state of total bliss. You may believe you didn't have enough time to spend with them, but they can now be with you whenever they so desire. You may not really realize when they're around you, but they're sending you, without a doubt, signs all the time. You may be worried that they're still in pain, but they're in a place of total peace where suffering does not exist. You may not comprehend why everything happened the way it did, but they're able to see the broader perspective and understand it all perfectly. You may think that they left this earth way too soon, but they know it was their time to make their transition. You may feel guilty about certain things you did or didn't do to them, but they're able to see through your eyes and understand your actions completely with no judgment. You may be preoccupied with how they died, but they want you to remember how they lived. You may be hesitant about moving on with your life, but they want you to step forward and be happy again. You may believe that you'll never see them again, but you will join them again many years from now when you leave your physical body. And you may feel that a part of you died when they made their transition, but in reality, life continues for the both of you. And that pretty much sums it all, everything that I've learned to be true, and my wish is for you to understand this too. Are we ready to move on? Okay. So, in order to connect with your children's vibration is way up here. And when somebody's grieving, way down here. Rightfully so, of course, you're grieving. You're feeling very sad and you miss them so much and you have regrets. So you're not on par with their energy. And that's probably why you're not feeling them. You may be feeling them. And I'm going to teach you how to make sure you can feel them. But this may be why a friend of a friend of a friend is able to receive messages from them and dreams from them, and you're not. And that's because they're removed from the situation, right? So we're going to learn how to raise our vibration so it's more on par with their energy. It's like tuning into 1300 AM when you want to tune into 3200 FM. You just can't, you're not getting that frequency. And they are trying to talk to you. You're not bothering them by asking them to talk to you. I promise you, if it was reverse and you were on the other side and they were here, wouldn't you want to share messages letting them know that you were okay? Of course you would. And the same it is with them. You're not bothering them. Okay? So the first thing you need to do to raise your energy is set the intention that you want to raise your vibration. You have to say, I'm willing to do everything it is. I'm willing to release everything that's preventing me from raising my vibration. You set the intention. Okay? Then you need to become more aware of the things that are showing up in your life. Because once you set the intention, has anybody read or seen the movie The Secret or anything? You're a vibrational being. Whatever you're thinking and feeling, you're creating in your life. So if you think you can feel them, guess what's going to happen? You won't be able to. So I want you to say, I can and I will. And just setting the intention and then become more aware of what's happening in front of you, you'll see it will happen more and more frequently. Okay? The next one is a big one. Practice forgiveness. And a lot of you are saying easier said than done. And I'm not just saying with your loved one who's passed or anybody that's connected with your loved one who's passed. It could be a distant relative, a friend that you're holding a resentment towards, or anything like that. I always use the saying, it's not the snake bite that kills us. It's the venom that's left behind. And when we're holding on to resentment, it's preventing us from spreading the love and light and feeling our loved ones. So if you don't want to do it for the other person who you're really upset with, do it for you. Do it for you. Release. You don't have to be with that person. You don't have to be in a toxic relationship, but forgive them and let them go. Okay? And I know a lot of you are saying easier said than done, but it's well worth your effort. Okay? The next thing you want to do is be more compassionate. Try to love everybody. You may not understand them, but just try to see through their eyes. Now, what happens, and you've had wonderful guest speakers. I'm sure they talked about near-death experiences. Yes, Elizabeth?
I'm going to unmute. Yes, they have, definitely.
They have. So what happens, and I'm sure they talked about, after you leave the physical body, you go through a life review where you're able to see and feel how you've affected each person in your life as if you are the other person. And the reason that is because we are all one. I know this is hard to understand. When we're in a physical body, it feels that you're over there, I'm over here. But we are all one. And once we leave the physical body, we could feel that connection in an instant. So you feel as if you are the other person. And you could feel exactly how you affected them through their eyes. So I tell people, don't wait until it's too late to try to see through somebody's eyes. Try to go through that now. Try to see through their eyes and understand where they're coming from. You may not agree with what they're doing. And I'm not saying that you have to agree with, they might be a very negative person, but try to see through their eyes why they do what they do. I had I taught a class many years ago. It's based on, I have a book based on this experiment, Through the Eyes of Another. we had a group of people that met weekly, and we tried to see through each person's eyes in our lives. We wrote letters to the people in our lives, trying to make peace with them. People who we needed to forgive, people who we wanted to ask for forgiveness, somebody we hurt. We tried to forgive ourselves and so forth. There was a woman in that class that she couldn't forgive her mother, who verbally and physically abused her, burnt her with cigarettes and everything, and it was very difficult. She was in years of therapy. She couldn't forgive her mom. So I said, okay, let's try to see through your mom's eyes. I am not saying what your mom did was right. As a matter of fact, it was wrong. It was terrible. But if you could see through your mom's eyes, why did she do this? Why was she so unhappy? And she said, well, my mom was the oldest of 8 children, and she was in charge of all of them from an early age. She resented that fact. She didn't like being in charge of people. I said, so you can understand she probably subconsciously resented being in that, when we were talking about it. And don't you know, that person, her name is Donna, I shared with her, her story in the book. She was able to release her mom. She couldn't do it after many years of therapy, and she was able to do that by just trying to see through her mother's eyes. So try to see through the eyes of the people in your life, people who've hurt you, people who didn't mean to hurt you, but they did nonetheless. Try to see through their eyes and try to ask forgiveness, somebody that you may have hurt, and so they could see through your eyes. You could say something like, I never meant to hurt you, but I did nonetheless. And they will feel heard as well, okay? You will create peace in your life and in the lives around you. And you will be raising your vibration so it's more on par with your loved ones, okay? The next thing you want to do is, we don't have to be a specific religion. We don't have to be any religion. You don't have to believe in God. But we are all interconnected. So when I say pray, you could speak to source energy, to creator, to your loved ones. Pray, talk to them, and meditate is listening to them. In any relationship, you need to listen as well as to speak, right? So speaking is praying and meditating is listening. So I would say set aside time every day, even if it's 10 minutes a day, quieting your thoughts so you could connect with their thoughts. Now, if they're speaking to you as thoughts, which we're going to get into in a minute, they're not necessarily speaking as an audible voice. They're coming to speak to us telepathically. And our thoughts are going a mile a minute. We won't be able to hear them, right? So if you set aside even 10 minutes a day with the intention of just quieting your thoughts, focusing on your breath. If you can't meditate, there's many things on YouTube. You could guided meditation tapes and so forth to help you to meditate every single day. Every day when I come in for an appointment, I meditate an hour before everybody comes in to see me. Now, when I'm meditating, I don't want to hear any messages during that time because then I won't be meditating. In other words, I'll be waiting to hear from them. So what I'm recommending to you is quieting your thoughts, 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes even better, with the intention of just quieting your thoughts so that later on you can connect with them and you'll be able to hear them when they talk to you. Does that make sense? So it's like putting gas in the car. You put gas in the car so that you could drive your car later on in the day. It's not for just that moment, right? So you're meditating with the purposes of connecting later on, and you know how to turn your mind off quickly. If you feel somebody, and we're going to go through that, I'll take you through this. So I know you could all do this. I know you can. All right? The next thing you want to do is be grateful. This all raises your vibration. And you may say, how could I be grateful after all that happened to me? I understand. I truly do. But think about things that you are grateful for. The fact that I hope you have hot water. Some of us don't because we had a storm and we don't have electricity, but most of us do have hot water or a bed to sleep in. Or you're breathing. You woke up in the morning and you had your loved one in your life all those years and you're thankful for that. So think of the things that you are grateful for. And the more you're grateful for things in your life, the more things will come into your life for which to be grateful. Again, it's the law of attraction. Whatever you're thinking and feeling, you're creating more of in your life. Okay? The next thing is you want to reprogram your thinking. So if you're thinking, you could focus, you can't change every single thought. Let's go back. You can't focus on every single thought in your mind because your mind is going a mile a minute. It constantly changes. It's that chatter. Focus on how you're feeling emotionally. And if you're feeling negative emotions, chances are you're thinking negative thoughts. So try to say, okay, what am I thinking in this moment that's triggering this negative thought? And you're going to change the subject. Fake it until you make it, change the subject. Let me go back. I know I go off on a tangent a lot, so just bear with me. Several years ago, I was doing readings, and in order to connect with deceased loved ones, I have to keep my vibration up. I was going through a divorce at that time. How do you keep your vibration up when you're going through something negative? I had to do it. So what I did during that time, I didn't know about tapping, which is a wonderful thing, EFT, that's a whole subject in itself. And there's all these different things, techniques that we could go through. I talk about it in Your Life After Their Death. There's different techniques and how to do that. At that time, I had no idea what tapping was, but I did know I had to keep my vibration high. So what I did was I went on YouTube and I Googled babies laughing, or puppies running around, or kittens, or bunnies, or whatever it is. And I can assure you, when I was doing that, I didn't want to see babies laughing. I didn't want to see puppies running around because I wanted to bask in my anger and my sorrow. But I knew I had to. So when I put the puppies running around and all of that, I had my arms crossed and I was angry. And then all of a sudden, after a few minutes, my energy shifted. I uncrossed my arms. I was happy. And I shifted my energy, at least for a time being, and I was able to do the readings. So what I'm telling you to do is anything that it takes to help you to feel better in the moment, whether it be put on music, go for a walk, pet your cat, pet your dog, whatever it is, you do that for a brief period of time. It will help you to feel better. And this is going to help you to reconnect with your loved one, with your child, to help you to talk to them because they want to talk to you. And if you're not on par with their energy, you won't be able to hear them. So if you don't want to do it for yourself, you do it for them. Okay? All right. The next one is not so popular with the people that I talk to. And I always say, if something doesn't resonate with you, what anybody says to you, myself included, don't accept it. I'm a vegan. I started to feel the pain of the animals after I received that light experience. After I received the experience with the Lucha Lucina, Bella Lucha Lucina. After that, I was eating meat at that time. And every time I ate meat, I felt the pain. I assure you, if you could feel that, you would never eat meat again. If we could live happy and healthy lives without harming anyone, why wouldn't we? That's the way I feel. But I know everybody doesn't want to be a vegan. When I'm speaking to an auditorium room filled with people, I say, how many vegans? And we have maybe 3, and I'm one of them. So I tell you, of course you could connect with your deceased loved ones if you're not a vegan. Of course you can. I'm just telling you different ways to raise your vibration so it's more on par with their energy. But I can tell you, this you can do. How about 1 meal a week or 1 meal a day? Try to eat a plant-based diet, maybe just fruit and vegetables and grains, and you don't have to just eat salads. I don't eat salads, as a matter of fact. There's so many things at pasta. You could even eat unhealthy vegan, but I'm not encouraging that either, but pasta and see how you feel after that 1 meal a week or 1 meal a day. And you'll see you could do it, and you'll see you'll feel better, and you'll be able to raise your vibration so it's more on par with their energy. But again, if you're not a vegan, are you going to be able to connect with your loved ones? Of course you are. I'm just giving you things that work for me. Okay? So take it or don't accept it. That's okay. All right? So we're ready to talk about signs from your deceased loved ones?
Yes, we are. And
All
I love
right.
what you've been talking about. We have
Good.
lots of questions already in the chat box, but we'll wait until you read through the list. That would be wonderful.
Okay. So the next part is my favorite part. I teach classes, I travel the country, I teach classes in my office, and now I'm doing online events as well, like this one. Thank goodness we could do that. We could reach out to a whole bunch of people that we couldn't ordinarily. This is always my favorite of all, is talking about without a doubt signs from our loved ones. Now, when I say without a doubt signs, I mean signs that normally don't happen to you. All right, I'm going to go through them. This is just the most common, and I'm sure there are many others. First of all, I would ask your child, give me a sign to let me know you're with me. Don't tell them what to do. Don't tell them what sign to give you. Just say, please, I need to hear. Rather than say, please, let's backtrack. Say, thank you for giving me a without a doubt sign so I know you're around me. Know without a doubt that they're going to do it. When you say please, you're begging them. And it's almost as if you don't believe that they're going to do it. So you say thank you. That's the faith that all the great masters talked about. So you say, thank you for giving me a sign to let me know that you're with me. Okay, so that's the first thing you do. So the different signs, the first way that they speak to you is they place thoughts in your head. Do you remember before I was telling you, we're expecting to hear a voice or to see an apparition of our loved one, and you may, but the most common way they speak to you is in your thoughts. They're speaking to you telepathically. Chances are you're thinking about your child all the time. All the time. So how are you going to tell the difference between your thoughts and theirs? I'll tell you how. Your thoughts will have an originating thought that triggered a thought that triggered a thought. So you may see a picture of them that triggered a memory that triggered another memory. That's you. When your child speaks to you, they speak to you, all of a sudden a thought will pop in your head for no reason. For no reason. You'll be in the shower maybe or driving your car, and you'll, in your mind's eye, you'll hear, hi, Mom. You don't call yourself Mom, right? Or they'll remind you of something that the two of you did together. There's no originating thought that triggered that thought that triggered that thought. I know all of you are receiving these types of messages. I know it. So what I want you to do is, it's going to be hard because you're thinking about them all the time. Next time you think about them, see if you could find the originating thought. And if not, chances are they're speaking to you. They are going to be so excited that you're able to hear them, that you acknowledge them. Say, I hear you, I hear you. So remember before when my mom said to me after she passed, hi, sweetheart, in my thoughts, I don't call myself sweetheart. I knew it was her. I said, Mom, thank you so much. And then she continued to talk. I wouldn't have known that if I didn't do what I do. Okay? You may think you're going crazy. That's what people say. I think I'm going crazy. You're not. Far from it. Okay? The next thing they do is they come to us in dreams. There's two types of dreams. One is a true visitation from them, and the second one is a dream from your subconscious. And it's important to know the difference between the two of them. A dream from your subconscious may be scary, how they passed, maybe them in a casket or something horrible, or they're mad at you or something. That is not them. A true visitation in a dream will feel wonderful. You will feel like you've won the lottery. How many of you have had a dream like this? I want to see hands. So a lot of you have had that. I want you to ask your loved one to come into a dream, but to wake you up after the dream so you remember it. Because what happens is you may have the dream, he or she will come to you in a dream, and then you'll sleep the whole night and you won't remember it. Be persistent, be patient, and wait, and they'll come when they can. I love to give examples. So I'll give you an example of when my mom passed. I know a minute ago I just said they don't speak to us as voices, but after my mom passed, I said, Mom, I need to hear your voice one more time. So what happened was one day I came home from work and I was very tired and I took a nap and I had a dream. It wasn't a dream. It was a real visitation from my mom. And in the dream, I was in a crowded place and a voice came over the loudspeaker and it was my mom's voice. And she said, I have an important announcement. I have an important announcement. I am okay and I love you. And in the dream, I knew it was really her. And I said, Mom, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I love you so much. Who's with you? And she said something I didn't understand. And I said, say it again. And then she said, Nanny, who's her mom? And with that, the phone rang, woke me up, and I was able to remember the dream. If the phone didn't ring, I wouldn't be able to remember. I felt like I won the lottery. So I want you, ask your loved ones. I said, Mom, I need to hear your voice. I didn't say, please. I said, I need to hear your voice. So say, I need to hear from you. You're not taking them away from something they need to do. They want to let you know they're with you. I promise you, okay? I'll say it again, if they were on the other side, if you were on the other side and they were here, you would want them to know you were okay, wouldn't you? Yes. Okay, so make sure you know the difference between the two types of dreams. Okay, if it's scary and frightening, it's not your loved one, it's not your child. Just be persistent and patient, and they'll come when they can. Next thing, they love to come through as an animal, a bird, a ladybug, a dragonfly, or any other animal to let you know that they're with you. How many have had that? How many have had those types of dreams? A lot of you. Now, this animal would do something that it normally wouldn't do, such as land on you, peck at your window, scream, yell, whatever it is. I see smiles. You know what I'm talking about, yes? So it would happen, and they retain the same personality. When you receive a sign, it's usually in the same personality as your loved one. Follow me on this. I had a friend, Marion, who was so loud and sarcastic. So after she passed, I wrote her, and I suggest this for you to do this too. I wrote her a letter, believe it or not. Write your loved ones a letter. And in the letter, say everything you love about them and why. And then say, come to me. I would love for you to give me a sign, a without a doubt sign, to let me know that you're aware of what I just wrote to you. All right? So I did this to Marion. I wrote her a letter, and I asked her to give me a sign. 2 days later, I'm walking down the steps to my house with letters in my hand to put in my mailbox. And there was a bird in my driveway screaming at the top of its lungs. I mean, I've never heard a bird scream, that little bird, wah, like that. And I said, Marion, is that you? I walked to the mailbox. The bird followed me to the mailbox. Birds don't do that. Landed on the mailbox and looked at me right in my eyes and screamed at me. Wow! I said, Marion, I love you so much. Oh my God, thank you so much. I turned around and my neighbor was looking at me and she thought I lost my mind. But I didn't care. I had my cell phone in my pocket. I called my son and I said, Tim, come outside, Marion's here. And he said, huh? I said, just come outside, Marion's here. And he witnessed the whole thing. 2 days later, a mutual friend of Marion and myself called me and said, you're not going to believe the sign I got from Marion. I said, what happened? She said, Karen, I just painted my kitchen and I opened the sliding glass door. A bird flew into my kitchen. Excuse my French, pooped all over my walls and then flew out. Now, Marion was very sarcastic, right? Carol immediately knew it was Marion. She said, thanks a lot, Marion. And Marion did it again. So it was typical Marion fashion. Would my mother have given a sign like that? No, because she was quiet. You see what I mean? So your child will give it the message just the way they were. They retain their personalities. They grow and they evolve, but they retain their same personality. And you wouldn't want it any other way. And if they were quiet, you're going to have to say, turn that volume up a little bit. I can't hear you. Okay? All right. The next thing, they love to place objects in our path, whether it be feathers or coins or rocks. How many have received this over and over? I would love to hear from you. What time I have to go quickly, right? Because we only have 20 minutes left. So,
Yep, we have lots of questions, but this is
okay.
fun to listen to. So
Okay, I'll
keep
go
going.
quickly. But don't forget, they would happen. And even people who don't even believe in the signs, they'll say, I think my grandmother's sending me coins. I just keep finding coins and I keep thinking of my grandma, or, I keep finding feathers. What I would say is put the pennies, put the dimes, the nickels, the quarters, the feathers, the rocks in a safe place. If it's coins, put in a jar. You're going to see how many signs you are receiving from them. The more you're aware of the signs that they're giving you, the more they will give you. Okay? So they love to play with us. They really do. Okay. The next thing, they love to give off fragrances, whether it be their perfume, their cigarette smoke, cigar smoke, even their deodorant. How many have had that? No explanation. You're walking around and all of a sudden you smell a rose. Some of you have had that too. Some of you had many signs. I love to see that. So the more you're aware of it, you say hi, say their name. Thank you for giving me that. I love this when you interact with me. I love you, and know that they're there with you. Now understand, of course, you miss their physical body, but they're still with you spiritual. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. It's not the other way around. So understand the energy of who we are continues without a doubt. And my wish is for you to know that too. Okay, let's move on. They love to give songs come on at the perfect time with the words that you need to hear at the perfect time, right? Or their favorite song. It might be an old song that you haven't heard forever. And all of a sudden you're talking to them, give me a sign, and that song comes on. When you walk into the mall, into the store, and that song comes on. Or you turn on the radio and you're talking to them, and the line that comes on the song is what you need to hear. How many have had that? So you're all getting signs from your loved ones. That's beautiful. I love that. I knew it. So even if you're not receiving messages from them, you think you're receiving the signs from them. And the best part, when I was saying before, you have to raise your vibration to hear them, you don't even have to raise your vibration to receive the signs. Because they're going to knock, when I say it's without a doubt, it'll be something that you sit like a bird will smack at your window, or something that you'll know without a doubt it's them. Okay? The next thing, they love to show us the same numbers over and over. Whether it be 1111, 2222, their birthday, your address, over and over, to the point where you say, what's going on? I know it's you. You'll know it's them. How many have had that? So be on the lookout for more of these types of signs. I just love that some of you have so many signs, and the ones who have not had any signs, don't despair. Just ask your loved one to give you a sign, and then be patient and wait. And it'll come in the fashion that they were. So if they were quiet, it'll be maybe a quiet sign, but it'll be a sign nonetheless. Okay. The next one's very subtle. They enable us to feel peaceful for no reason. We'll be sitting there, we'll feel sad, and then all of a sudden, we'll feel this peace that you cannot explain. That's them letting you know they're with you. Anybody had that experience? The more you meditate, the more you'll receive that type of sign, because they're with you anyway, and they are very much at peace. So when you meditate and you quiet your thoughts, you'll be more on par with their energy and you will feel them more. So set aside time every single day, whether it be focusing on your breath or staring at a candle. You could stare at a candle till you can't keep your eyes open anymore, and then you close your eyes. And after a few seconds, you'll see the flame in your eyelids. I know I'm giving you a lot of information. I'm trying to put it all in 1 hour. So you stare at a candle, close your eyes, you'll see the flame. And when that flame disappears, you open your eyes and stare at the candle again. Hopefully you're just focusing on that candle and not thinking what you have to make for dinner or whatever else. Okay, that's one way of meditating. The next thing, they love to play with electricity. How many? They love to play with flickering the lights when you're talking about them. Yes. Or, make the TV go on and off, or the clock flash. They love to do this. And why they can do this is they are energy. So they play with energy, and those lights go off when you need to, you acknowledge them, say, hi there, I know you're here. They love to be acknowledged. They love to let you know that they're with you. So a lot of you have had that too. Okay. Another thing, I'll go through 2 more, maybe 3 more, and then we'll ask the questions because we're already at 1/4 of. So now, when I started receiving messages from deceased loved ones, right before I received the message, I would hear in my ears a buzzing noise, like beep, like a ringing sound. And then a thought would pop in my mind, something that I would like, boxing kangaroo, Aunt Jemima, crazy things. And it always meant something for that person. So what I found over the years is their vibration is higher. So they emit this frequency, like a beep, like a high frequency. So if your ears are buzzing, not always are you have, what is it, tinnitus is it called? Not always. Sometimes yes, but sometimes they're speaking to you in a higher frequency. So pay attention to that buzzing sound and then see what happens afterward. What types of thoughts pop into your head after that? They love to give us rainbows. How many have had rainbows? Some of you have had so many. I love that. And the ones who haven't, please don't despair. Just be on the lookout for it. I want you to say to your child, thank you for giving me a sign. Now, you see the difference then begging them, please give me a sign, please. What does that mean? It means that you don't believe that they can. They can, and they will, and know it to be so. Okay? So you're going to say thank you so much, and then just be on the lookout for these wonderful signs. Okay? A car could cut you off. You'll be driving, and a car cuts you off. I have people who give their finger to people who cut them off, but don't do that. Notice the license plate. It might be your loved one's name or a sign or a word that you need, like smile or whatever it is, peace or their name and so forth. So just be on the lookout for all these. I could go on and on and on and on, but I would like to take some questions because we're already.
Can I just tell you that I have had every single sign you've talked about. And the reason is because I found out about you and about the article that we read at our affiliate leader meetings.
Yes.
Very early on. So I was on the lookout for them. And the tinnitus is something that I've had from the very, very start. And that is something that is especially evident when we have these meetings. So I know that all the kids are talking, not just my kids. Everybody's talking at the same time. And I love that. But also the whole feeling of that incredible peace from them hugging us. I believe that that's when they hug us.
Absolutely.
And it just makes you feel so wonderful. But I feel grateful to you that I knew about this from the very start so that I was looking out for these signs. And I know that everyone on here is talking about these incredible signs that they also are getting in the chat box, which is wonderful. And now that they know even more signs that they should be looking out for, and know more importantly, that every time that we thank our kids for these signs, we get more. And so that's the most important thing, is that we keep on telling them, thank you, this is amazing.
And even beforehand, if you're not getting, there's a few of you who have not received signs, say thank you for, and then just know that they will give you a sign. They will. They can and they will.
And I just also have to say, I don't think that this is necessary, as you say, but I've been a vegetarian, actually a pescatarian, for most of my life, since I lived in India back when I was in junior high school. And I think that that actually does help to raise our vibration. Not that everybody has to do that, but I think that it is a great way of raising our vibration. and practicing yoga, practicing things that
Yes.
help to allow us to slow down our mind is a really great way to be able to connect. But I want to just ask some really fascinating questions that are in the chat box. Anna is saying, I hear a lot about life review, and she's curious to know if there is a beginning of time, like an age, or if it is from the time that we are born until we depart, that that life review will be
Sure.
shown.
It would be the whole life in an instant. And I don't understand it, but this is what they say when they come through. It's just all now. Time is an illusion. It just comes all through from the moment you were born all the way through, good and bad. So if you were helping people, you'll feel that too, as if you are the other person. So that's a good thing to know too. So all the good you've done in the world, you will feel it too. But let me say something too, because then people say, oh no, I'll be in a dark place when I leave. It's not that at all. You go through this life review, you're able to see the bigger perspective and you say, I should have done it differently. It's not that you're in a bad place. You're in a wonderful, loving, beautiful, peaceful place. You're one with God and the angels. But you see the bigger perspective and you say, I should have done this. And you often come back and say, I'm sorry, I should have, could have, would have. That's what I'm saying. It's
Well,
important to
along
say.
the same lines, that we have another question about forgiveness. Is it something that we have to forgive them in our hearts, or do we need to speak it out loud? This is one of the questions coming
In
in.
your hearts. You don't have to say anything to the person. They don't even have to know what you're doing. So you're releasing that energy. You're cutting the cords with that person, that negativity. They may not even know. But the funny thing is, when you forgive them in your heart, something will change between you and them too. They will feel it subconsciously.
That's wonderful. And Doug is asking, and I think this is a really great question, because intense grief causes our vibration to be at a lower level, which of course is the opposite of what we want. Does our vibration frequency naturally increase when we are in a sleep state?
Yes, that's why it feels so good to take a nap. It immediately reboots. So yes, and you're able to travel and you do all sorts of things. So yes, that's why it feels so good. And meditating will help you as well.
And I have another question about, one of the moms is asking about putting on, there's so many things that people have written, so it's hard to find these, but I remember that she wrote about listening to a meditation, a guided meditation, and she always falls asleep when she's listening to it before she goes to sleep. Is this effective? Is this something that's helping her?
It's helping. It's the intention of, setting the intention of meditating. But if she's doing it right before she goes to sleep, that's why she's falling asleep, is when she's tired. She may want to, when I meditate, I sit up.
Yeah,
I
that's
sit
a
up.
good idea.
You know what I do? Everything, I make it part of my ritual too. If I wake up, and I also meditate before all my appointments, but when I wake up, I sit up and I meditate for half an hour. So it's a ritual, just like everything else. You brush your teeth, you take your shower, meditate if you can.
That's wonderful. And Jody is saying that she's going to be spreading her child's ashes tomorrow. And she wondered if there's any way that she can increase the chances of receiving signs. This was early on in your talk, though. I think that you've given her a lot of good ideas, but maybe you could just say something to Jody. That would be really wonderful.
Yes, Jody, just ask for a sign. Say, thank you so much for giving. Look what we're doing. We love you so much. We know you're with, as a matter of fact, the ashes aren't who they are anymore, right? But it's a symbol. So say, please, not please. Thank you for coming today, giving me a sign. And if not today, you'll know you'll receive the sign at a later date. You will.
Okay, thank you. And Nancy is asking, she says, I felt my son's sadness at his grave. I explained to him that I knew he didn't mean to die, that the drug he took was deadly. I believe he was okay after that. What do you think? I think he was probably never sad and never, but I'm just asking you.
That was your subconscious. It's kind of what I was saying about dreams. If you're feeling they're negative or sad or angry, that's never them. That's your subconscious worried about what happened. He may be going through his life review saying he shouldn't have done whatever he did, but he is truly truly in a place of complete peace and love, and he's not sad. He's right by your side telling you how much he loves you. Maybe saying he's sorry, but he loves you and he's in a state of complete peace, not sadness, happiness.
That's
We're the
beautiful.
ones who are sad. We
Yes,
are. Ones
they
who,
are home and we're still in
yes,
school and we've
yes.
got lots of stuff to learn, and they're just having such a blast. And I always remind all of the parents on the meetings that all of our kids are great friends now, and they are the ones that connect all of us, and they are so excited. I mean, I talk about this all the time. I know people get sick of it, but they high five each other every time that one of us smiles. It's just so exciting to them to be able to do that. And they're trying to connect with us as hard as we are trying to connect with them. So,
And I feel like I have to say something too. People sometimes feel that it's disrespectful to be happy again, but they're right by your side saying they want you to be happy. They don't want you to be sad. They
yes,
don't. They're in a state of complete peace and they want you to be at peace too.
I agree 100%. And I just love having you tell everyone this, because it is so important for people to understand this. And I know that Mary's on the meeting tonight, and her course is so wonderful too, because it allows people to be able to connect with their kids through the use of the program that she does, which is just so amazing. I'm just looking to see if there are so many people writing about all of the incredible signs that they're getting. Lynette is saying, I just heard ringing in my left ear. That's
See?
welcome to my life.
There you
I
go.
can barely hear anything now because the kids are always talking. Let's see. And then Jody's saying, I am so glad I am hearing this all tonight. Thank you, Karen. There are so many other signs that people are talking about: repetition of numbers, numbers on license plates, obviously songs that come in on that are just so important. Andrea's saying, we never tire of you saying that, Elizabeth. Okay, thank you. I can't ever say it enough. I have to say that I was at a meeting with about 40 parents one time, and one of the parents who was there, we were all sharing, he shared first, and then we went around, and then he at the end came up to me and he said, you know, there are at least 40 kids who are here with us. And he said, I didn't want to interrupt the meeting, but they are just so happy that all of us are together. And he said, I just have to tell you, they're high-fiving each other every time they see one of the parents smile. And I know that, I can feel it, but I don't see that. I don't see the way that you do, or the way that he does. And this was something that happened to him almost immediately when his son passed. And one thing that I would like to just bring up very quickly is that so many of our parents are not only connecting with their own kids, but become mediums along the way. And it's something that's just so beautiful to see. We just had Jason come on Friday and talk about his new book, Shift, which is about him connecting with his daughter. But so many of our affiliate leaders are mediums now, as well as so many parents who just have had this change their worlds completely and open them up to the point where it's actually almost a gift to be able to have our kids over there showing us the way and explaining that this is not the end. This is just a very, very small part of our whole existence, and that there's so much waiting for us. So what we have to focus on now is love. And yes, and Mary's saying Kathy is an excellent medium. I know she is. I mean, there's just so many people that have been transformed by the passing of their children, and not in a bad way. It doesn't have to be bad. It can be absolutely an amazing journey. So I'm glad that you're able to tell everyone that as well. And we have a few minutes. We haven't had a lot of other questions. We've had mostly people affirming everything that you're saying, which is wonderful. But are there any closing words that you'd like to leave?
I do have closing words.
Thank you.
If you recall in the beginning, I was saying how shy I was before this all happened. And then I felt the angels telling me I had to teach people how to do what I do. And that's pretty much what I'm doing here, because it's not what a medium does. We all can do this. We're not, right? It's not what Karen Noe, it's every single one of you. So I felt the angels telling me I was supposed to teach a class, how to connect with angels and deceased loved ones. And I said, okay, well, what would I talk about? And I just was writing everything down. At that time, I stood behind a podium and I would read everything as I spoke. But I said I really needed something to close with, a really good thing for people to leave with. And I didn't know how to close. And with that, I felt the angels telling me, go to your emails. I said, go to my emails? That doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to do this right now. So I listened. I went to my emails and I received one of those pass along letters, that you receive from, they pass it on to somebody else. And it was called A Man Whispered. And I would like to read that to you. It's so relevant. Every time I end a class, I end it with this. The man whispered, God speak to me, and a meadow lark sang, but the man did not hear. So the man yelled, God speak to me, and the thunder rolled across the sky, but the man did not notice. And the man shouted, God, show me a miracle. And a life was born, but the man did not know. So the man cried out in despair, God, touch me and let me know that you're here. Whereupon God reached down and touched the man, but the man brushed the butterfly away and walked on. Don't miss out on a blessing because it isn't packaged the way you expect. Be open to receive, and you will. I promise you.
Thank you so much. And you're exactly right. Gosh, that poem's bringing tears to my eyes. It's so important that we be open to receive, because I just feel like there's so much for everyone here to experience and to live with their kids. Their kids are right here with them. Every single one of our kids are still right here, and they are just having a blast. And they are so excited to know that we're learning about all of these things and we're able to understand. And especially in this day and age with everything that's going on with this pandemic and things that are making everyone afraid, I feel very grateful that we, again, have been through the worst. So nothing can ever scare us again. Nothing can ever be as horrific or earth-shaking as having a child pass. But at the same time, we now know that there's so much more, and we don't have to worry. So anyway, thank you so much, Karen. And it was wonderful to have you again after so many years, to be able to have you talk. And have a wonderful evening, everyone. Listen, I have something very important to tell you. On Monday, we have Paul Jacobs, who's going to be speaking to our group. He's speaking from London, and so the time is going to be very different from the normal times. It's 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 10 o'clock here in Arizona, and then I believe it's 6 o'clock in the UK. So please make sure that you look out for that, because he's amazing. It's such an honor to be able to have him speaking, and I don't want anyone to miss him. But thank you, Karen. And what we normally do is that we allow everyone to unmute themselves right now and say goodbye and thank you to you. And are you guys able to?
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you,
Hear about your sign.
Bye, Karen.
Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Blessings.
you.